Let's date people and get in relationships with people of good character instead of dating people based on their salary or her figure.
There you go, there you go, there you go.
How's it going? How's it going?
I feel great. Today gonna be a good day. Gonna be a good day. Hope you have a good day.
Good. It is Friday the 13th, so be careful.
Hey, I'm in the crib. You know, we got ammunition. Jason can come around this joint if he wants to. You can bring all his boys. Jason, Mike Myers, Freddy Krueger.
Mike Myers, Freddy Krueger. All of them.
Hollow points for all of them.
All of them.
Yeah. So, welcome to the show. Let me do the cut, the intro cut for the YouTube, and then we'll jump right into it. All right?
Sure.
All right. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Tonight we got my man Killer Crumb, Nick Famous, discussing the culture. My favorite New Yorker, talking about the culture. So this is going to be a good one. Okay, tonight's show is brought to you by Batch. Balance is a master key to life. When y'all done watching this live, y'all go to BAMMLLC.net/shop Batch for all your clothing and apparel and accessory needs. That's where I got this cool mug from. So, Killer Crumb.
Yes, sir.
First question I always ask, what's up with you?
I'm good, man. Life is good. Don't got no complaints.
All right, so cool. No complaints. No complaints. Shout out to
my man.
The price is right. The price right. 2 goats. That's what he said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Crumb and I have known each other for at least 14 years, 13, 14 years. Crumb is somebody that I have healthy debate with all the time.
All the time.
And we agree on a lot of stuff, and then we'll pick something that we disagree about within the nuances and argue about it for 2-3 hours. So y'all gonna get an inside look into that tonight. You told me you wanted to come on the show and discuss the culture, our culture.
Yes. Yes.
So when you say our culture, I'm assuming you're talking about us.
I'm talking about us.
You talk about us. Okay. What is it about our culture in general that you need to get off your mind and your heart, my brother?
The first thing I want to talk about is what we value as men, women, adults, children. I think that's a important topic that we need to discuss in the community. What we value.
Okay, what do we value or what don't we value?
And what should we value?
And what should we value? So that's the question. Right. What do we value?
So do we value family enough? Do we value education enough? Do we value legacy enough? And those things are important because how do you move forward and grow as a community if we don't focus on being better at those things?
Okay. So what's the foundation? What's the first thing that we need to value in order to set the foundation for all of those other things?
Family. So down, family. Okay. Family, hands down.
Okay. So the guy, the Manosphere man of the year, Kevin Samuels, passed away. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
He would give us the stats. He would tell you that something like 70% of black kids are born to unwed parents. Right? How do we solve that? If you're telling me the family is the foundational solution to everything else.
So look at it like this. A child's first love are their parents. Whether it's your father or your mother, that's your first love. That's going to be the person that influences you the most, the person that you're probably going to learn, right from wrong from. also your environment, but your parents are the people that have the most impact on you young and becoming a child, a young man, young lady, young adult, family. And so if you take that concept and be like, let's focus on building a healthy family. Let's choose wise partners. Let's date people and get in relationships with people of good character instead of dating people based on their salary or her figure. Because those things to me can come and go. I remember making minimum wage to not making minimum wage. Right? It's a young lady out there right now and a young man out there right now that's making minimum wage. 5-10 years from now, he can own a company, a couple of companies. He can have a couple of houses. He can have a couple of cars. But if he's in a bakery working at your local, Giant or Shoppers or, Pathmark or something like that, but he got good character, are you going to look at him? Are you seeing the character traits that's going to make him a good man, a good family person? Or are you worrying about what he drive, what clothes he wear, type of jewelry he got on? Does he have gold in his mouth? And ask yourself those questions and I'm talking to the community, right? Ask yourself when you are, and again, I'm pointing this as what you want at 16 is different from what you want at 26 or 36.
Right.
Because you grow and you evolve as an adult. But who is instilling these qualities in you as a young man, as a young lady to value?
Is it so? Okay, so where if those values have to either come from the home or from somewhere out in the street?
Right. That's why I said, you said who's the foundation? Where does it start?
Right.
And that's why I said start at home with the family.
So do you? Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you have to build from there because those are your first influences. Those are the first people that show you values.
Okay. So that being the case, are we getting those superficial values from our families, or are we getting those superficial values from outside the home?
Both. So compare, growing up at our age, we didn't have as big a footprint as social media.
Okay.
Right? Think about our kids will grow up and probably never lose a friend because they'll be connected on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They have some social media outlet that they can have that person as a friend and always communicate. Right. If we moved out the neighborhood or moved out the state, unless, I called you or we played something together, then, I might not be able to communicate or connect with you. So you're going to get that at home, but now you flooded. You think about watching television from October to December, right? You see somebody trying to sell you. The kids want to buy toys. They just push, product, consume. So those are influence on children, right? And same thing with social media. They're selling you, what we should look like, what we should have. But is that the reality of what we do have and how we do live and what we do look like?
No. You, as we always say, you know that.
You know that, right? Right.
So that being the case, right? So what character traits should people be looking for in the guy that works at the grocery store or the young lady that doesn't have the curvaceous body?
Character. So if you ever want to be good or great at anything in life, the baseline I think we all need is discipline, dedication, and repetition. So your mother and your father teach you, brush your teeth every day. Wash your behind every day. Right? That's something that we all do and we don't even think about it. right? So if you telling your son or your daughter, look at somebody who has, good core values, have good character.
Mm-hmm.
And these are type of people that they also have in your environment, in your community that they hang out with. Then you would think that's normal,
Right.
right?
Right.
That would just be, that's just the thing you do.
Right.
And I grew up in Brooklyn. Everybody I hung out with wasn't, model citizen, but I had enough good people, quality people, good character people around me to know, like, maybe I shouldn't hang with those people. Maybe I should hang with these people.
Where'd you get those values from? That was from the home, right?
That's from house. That's from the home. That's my uncle, my mom's, my aunt, my grandmother, you know, my friends, and that's community, because your family and your neighbors now become your extended family, because we live in buildings, a lot of buildings in New York. So it ain't like you in a single family home. Like, you can live in a building, it's, 1,000 units in there. I mean, 100 units in there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So everybody grow up together. I go to your house, you come to my house, we eat, we play, we fight, we go to the same schools. So that actually becomes your extended family. So you do see stuff from your external resources. You see that type of stuff.
Right.
And those influence you. But, like I said, you probably spend more time at home with your family growing up before you become a working adult to help build those characteristics and those core values that you can pass on to, your children and the people that you come in contact with.
So do you think that, like, because I think school plays a big role in it. I agree with you on family
Yep.
being the foundation, but I think that it plays a major role in how you become socialized, right? Because
Right.
what
Right.
I think what sometimes happens is as parents, you can hold the right values and instill those values in your kids, and then they go to school and they start picking up those bad values. And now your job is not only to instill good values, is to deprogram bad values.
Well, ask yourself this question, or just think about it like this. We all went to different schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people in your school graduated. Some people in your school smoked, got high, drank. Some dudes joined gangs. Some people, they went a negative route. But what percentage of those students did that? The large majority, or they were in a short minority?
I would say it's a minority, but a negative times a positive is always a negative. So the negative always gets the attention.
Right. Right. But that doesn't make it fact, because if 20% of the people you go to school with, turn out to be bad seeds, they're going to get the attention. But the 80%, that's literally 3 out of 4 kids, they turn out all right. They turn out, they productive, they went to school, even if they got C's to just pass. Hey, they did what they had to do to get out of school.
Hey, George Bush was a C student.
C's get degrees. But that's the point. Like, those people still didn't go down that negative path.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody in their home was like, hey, listen, you got to graduate from school. Like, hey, you got to do this homework. You got to finish this assignment. Because we can't all be A students. But you got to do what's necessary to accomplish your goal. And if that's just, graduating out of high school, or, going to a JUCO or community college to get something that you want, like, you got to do it. And those values start at home. Right. And school it does influence you. I mean, school, sports. I actually think every man and woman or child should play team sports.
I agree, because that's what we do out here in the real world. That's what 99% of us do. We play a team sport. It's just not a sport. We work,
Right.
That's interesting.
And because that teaches you a life lesson. So think about, like, we're talking about family and relationships. When you work or you join a team, you learn that, one, I ain't the only one responsible for our goal. Mm-hmm. We all have a single focus. We are here to win. Or 5 of us if we playing basketball, or 11 of us we playing basketball, or 50 some guys if we playing football. as a team, we know our goal is to win.
Right.
So I can't do it by myself. So as a family, you think the same thing, right? We need a family. You know, mom and dad got to put this together and make this work for this child. How are we going to get the best outcome for this child?
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do to have this child be successful or a productive and good human being? And if we started looking at families and relationships like that, I think we'll be well. We'll be good moving forward for the community and for the culture.
So let me ask you this, yes or no, right? Because just yes or no. Does it feel to you like the black man and the black woman are at some type of war, battle, conflict? And I'm talking overall in general.
Yes.
Okay. So based on the conversation we're having, that's got to be like one of the cruxes of the problem, right?
Right.
So how do we move to a point when we're no longer at war fighting each other, but we're actually working together within that team construct that you're talking about?
So start with team building. Think about it. Like I said, when you're on a team, you have a goal. Like set a goal. So if me and you were two, single guys, or me and you were both, good players on a team, and we wanted to win the championship, right? No matter what sport we played, what other game we played, we wanted to win the championship. Me and you're going to sit down, we're going to have a conversation. Hey, I'm good at this. I know I can do this. You're going to tell me you're good at this, you can do this. All right, now how do we take those good or positive qualities and put them together to accomplish our goal? Conflict resolution. So, again, we know we have conflict in the culture, right? So how do we resolve that conflict? One, it starts with a conversation. I don't need to tweet you. I mean, I don't need to do. I can have a conversation. Let's use some words. Let's talk. And that is a huge thing when it comes to communication. It's huge. Just sitting down, talking to somebody face to face, because that, when you look at somebody's eyes and they tell you, yo, I like what you did. I care about you. I respect what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's different than me sending you a text. Right. Like, what does that mean? Like, right.
Okay,
like,
good job.
Okay, right.
You could have said
right. And that's, and it's small things like that, but it got to start somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have that, like when they have group activities in school. Like I remember I was in college, and so our professor, he broke the class up into groups, and this is what he told us. I think it was 5 groups. He said, I don't care how y'all complete this project, y'all all getting the same grade.
Ooh-wee. Hey, we got to work on this thing.
Right. So I think it was 6 of us. Only 5 of us participated.
So you said it was 6 of y'all?
Yes.
So one person didn't do the work?
At all.
That's
but you know what?
Percentage.
Right. She got the same grade and didn't do the work.
But that might be what has to happen.
Right. But I will take the majority putting in the work, because you can't save everybody. Everybody in the world is not going to end up being successful. Everybody in the culture is not going to turn out with the same outcome. But I will take 5 out of 6. I'll take 5 out of 6 on almost everything.
I'm taking 5 out of 6 on damn near everything I could think
everything, of. Right.
That's good. You know what I'm saying? That I'm willing to do.
Right. And so, and that's the goal. We want to get the majority of the people in our culture to be on a positive path, or a value path, where they value the relationship. They value the outcome of having, good moral values, good things that they value.
Okay. So I think that we have come to be pretty decent at creating individual success, right? In my opinion, we're pretty decent at it. We figured out like how to break into the middle class and then fewer and fewer go further up and up the chain, right? However, what you're talking about requires sacrifice. Hey, Mamie, what you're talking about requires sacrifice, right? So,
Yep.
what are the sacrifices? Let's talk about us as men. What are the sacrifices that we as black men have to make for our culture to flourish?
So you say sacrifice. I'll say you have to make sound decisions. And that might mean that, okay, we both fathers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'll change my shift to make sure I can be home to do homework.
Ooh-wee. Man.
Now, somebody might say, hey, that's sacrificing. To me, that's not a sacrifice. That's a requirement because I want a successful student,
Okay.
right? And the outcome I want is Daddy was a B to B plus student. You can be that or better,
Okay.
right? But you say sacrifice, to me, that's not an option if I have the choice. So, and you got to think about this. If you're a parent, if that means you have to work 50, 60 hours to put food on the table, pay rent, clothes on your kids' back, are you willing to do that? And I think 99 out of 100 parents be like, hey, to make sure our needs are met, I'll do 50, 60 hours.
Okay. Let me stop you there, because I agree with you on all of that, right? I think most people are willing to do what has to be done for their kids to be more successful than they are, or not have to traverse the difficulties that they did. But if the foundation is the family, and the black man and the black woman at large are at this conflict, right? What is it that the black man has to go to the black woman and say, this is what I'm willing to do, this is what I'm willing to give up, this is what I need for this thing to work? And then on the flip side of that, what's the black woman's sacrifice? What does she have to bring to the table? You see what I'm saying?
So when we started, I said conversation. So if
Okay.
I came to a woman and I was like, hey, I want a family, but before I start a family, I want to own our own home,
Okay.
right? And she either have to agree or not agree with that, right? Because I'm telling her what I want before I want this outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dating game is crazy. So if a man and a woman, you know, they come together and they have a conversation about what they want, and that's where it starts. Because conflict normally occurs where you want something, I want something, and then we don't know what each other's want, and they might conflict with
But
each
if
other.
if we talk about it, at least we out in the open about what it is that I'm looking to get and what you're looking to get.
Right. And so,
Okay.
like I said, conflict resolution. So if you come to me and say, well, I too want to be a homeowner. And I go, well, this is what we need to do. We have to have a credit score of this. We have to have 3 to 5% of down payment, right? If we want to live in this neighborhood, you know, this is how much the homes cost. This is a conversation we have to accomplish our goal as a team or as a unit. And so there is no conflict. Once we realize, hey, we want the same thing, the conflict normally occurs where we want two different things.
Okay, so if the conflict occurs because we want two different things, what are the different things that we want?
All right, so let's get on our Godfather Kevin Samuel's trip for right now.
Okay.
So he will interview, you know, a woman, and he interviewed men for years prior to. I know everybody didn't really know about that. So if you say you want a guy that's X height, makes X amount of money, and drive, you know, this type of vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have put yourself in a box of X amount of people,
Okay.
right? But that's what you want, right? So the question would be, what are you going to do to accomplish that goal? as a person. If I want a specific type of woman that looks a specific type of way, what do I need to do to get that woman? And that's outcome based thinking.
Okay.
And that's how we got to start thinking, right? Not just what makes me feel good.
Right.
You know, let me get something, let me do something that's going to get me the outcome I want. And men, for the most part, you'll ask us for the most part. I ain't saying we all, some of us, you know, we different. But most men will tell you what they want. Hey, we simple. We simple folks, you know. But can you handle that truth if it's told to you? Because I can tell you, you know, like I said, I want a house, you know, I want a nice car, but you know what? I ain't gonna be off every weekend. Man, I got to work a couple of weekends if I'm gonna accomplish this goal. I got to put this work in, you know. But I need you to be there, you know, support me, be by my side, and vice versa. Because you got women that's out here, you know, got their own businesses, going to school, and I'm like, hey, babe, you want to go to school? Cool. I want you to better yourself. Cool. I'll work a little couple more hours. You ain't got to put in all that work. You got to focus on school.
Right.
That's something I'll be willing to sacrifice for my partner. Right? If I want the relationship to be successful, because of course we're building as a team to accomplish a goal.
Right.
And that's how, if we start thinking goal oriented and accomplishing our goals, not my goals and your goals separately, our goals, then the family base is solid, is strong, because we move as a unit, we move as a team. And you see what teams do all the time. We see the significance, and you know, we sports guys, so we seen a star, he get buckets, but he lose. Right? Right? Like, yeah, that dude had 40, but they lost by 12.
Right.
Or they lost by 20.
He needed 52.
Right. But, and you'll see a team, but like, somebody scored 18, somebody had 25, somebody had, you know, 22. One guy had a 15 assists, one guy had 11 rebounds, and that team won.
And they win.
Because they realize we're better working as a team than working against each other. And I think it's I don't wanna, you know, start on those conspiracy theory, but I think it's profitable to somebody to keep us separate.
Oh, it's definitely profitable. And I don't know if it was you or somebody else that I was having a conversation with, and whoever it was, they said something to me, and I was like, damn, I didn't ever think of that.
Probably was me, because I did think about the math, right?
Right.
Across most major cities is apartments. All over, right?
Right.
How we gonna fill those apartments if everybody families?
Right. Half of them gone. And I think it was like, yo, if you pay rent over here and rent over here, it's good. But if y'all come together, you only got to pay rent in this one spot.
And the goal and the odds is, if we both paying, you know, $1,300-$1,400 in rent, one of us gonna be like, you know what, we can buy this house. We can get this house. Right. We're gonna save this bread. We're gonna buy this house. Because of course you gotta have two cars. You know, if you got two different apartments, it's two of y'all. So family is the foundation of what the community need to focus on for our culture to be successful. Okay. To have better outcomes.
Okay, I agree. Let me ask you this, and then we'll kind of transition, because statistically, the family started to dissipate after the 60s. So what do you attribute to the decline of the family, at least statistically?
Oh, this gonna be longer than an hour if we go into all that, but I'm gonna keep it short.
Keep it short, or we can go.
I'll try to keep it short.
I'm off tonight.
Right. You gotta ask yourself, what did those families value prior to that decline, and what replaced the man in the household or the woman in the household? And that changed. You know, services were provided to, you know, people for, you know, if you didn't have a partner. If you didn't have a partner, you know, somebody's going to pay you food and rent and, you know, Hey man, I don't need all that. I got this right here. It's gonna keep coming too. You know, and so did that devalue? Did that devalue the relationship?
Yeah, I mean, to be, you know, I know you're just saying that, but in my opinion, if you take away someone's responsibility, why would they continue to be responsible for it, right?
Right, right. And so you got to ask yourself, if I like you know, like I always say, you know, 50% of 100 is better 100% of zero. So
Yeah, you love saying that.
hey, that's just real. So if I'm like, listen, I could pay 50% of your rent as long as you stay under this number, you can be like, well, and I can give you a stipend, so you got, you know, this coming in to take care of your groceries. Listen, I will be single, making this minimum wage money, and my bills will be paid, my fridge will be full, my rent is good. Like that's incentivizing you
Mm,
to not maybe want more or devaluing something that, you know, was once strong and binding.
okay,
And we're not even and I see, you know, brother Trey talk about like drugs is a big deal that happened in our community, man.
right.
And you know, I used to watch a lot of documentaries, you know what I mean, on those 80s and 90s, man, and you that tore a hole through relationships, bro, like nothing other.
And
You send a dude to jail for 10, 15, 20 years, man. I mean,
I mean, we still see the effects of it today. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It reverberates. And you know how we had those conversations because you and I are both people who are self accountable. We like, look,
Yes.
man, regardless of the facts of the past, I'm here to get mine right now.
No excuses.
Right? No excuses. But it doesn't change the facts. Right?
Right. So like I'll talk about education. So now that we know that we know that systems or laws or actions took place that negatively impacted us, men,
Right.
and our culture. We have a responsibility now to make sure it doesn't affect us now, men, and our culture. We don't repeat the same actions thinking we're going to get a different result, right? I'm not selling drugs, bro. I'm not robbing people.
Right.
So I'm not going, I'm doing my best to make smart decisions so I have a better outcome.
Mm. Um, I hope I say your name right. Rapier Alpha said cost of living went up, job security started going down, public works created a rift between men and women.
Right.
You agree with that?
Right. So you think about, you know, they talk about the feminist movement, which I grew up in a house where, you know, working class women. So I don't believe in, you know, I definitely believe in a woman should be able to make her own money and, you know, have her own. But what these people competing for the same jobs was you having that job more valuable than having that strong relationship.
So now you get into the sacrifice of the black woman.
And a black man. Because you got to think about it, right? If you have children, because everybody think like everybody not single with no kids. Like, like
Right.
you together, you have you children happen, right? So
Right.
now you got these children, they got to be taken care of.
Right.
So cost of living went up, right? The the jobs, were there enough of them around to afford to raise a family? And me and you both now in today's society, we ain't even gonna talk about inflation, but the cost of living is to a point where you actually have to have like two people working, or you have to have a very, you know, good paying job or career in a profession that compensates you to be able to afford to take care of a family of, let's just say, four, you
Yeah,
know.
that's the trap. That's
So
the trap.
if daddy working, mommy working, who taking care of the kids?
Right.
Right? Who raising these kids? And you said, is it us or is it outside? Well, now you got TV, you got media, right? Everything's at the touch of a button. You know, information overload. Man, I could do everything on my tablet and phone. Literally everything.
Mm.
Instantly.
So my girl Steph said pensions became 401ks, healthcare became attached to your job, and jobs left the United States.
Yeah, me and my one of my friends, we talk about that all the time. I had watched a documentary on like the gangs in LA, and they talked about how the industrials and those manufacturing plants and jobs when they left, like where the guys was gonna work at.
Right.
So a lot of them turned to the street game, and that's a direct impact from taking away, people options of making a honest living,
Mm-hmm.
and now I still got these same bills, right? And I just watched the Magic Johnson, 4-part series, and he said when he went to build the movie theater, he called some people to get the Bloods and the Crips to come and just have a conversation. He was like, "Listen, for this to work, we can't have no violence here. If you got people that need a job, we'll employ them, but we can't have no violence here for this to work."
Mm-hmm.
And this is a basketball player who got gang members. He's gangsters, but they was like, you know what? We need this to work. He giving our people jobs. He giving our people opportunity. He building affordable housing. Sacrifice. Even they was willing to sacrifice for the greater good of their community. And these is gangsters. Why can't the average person do that? What's their reason?
They can. You know how I see it. I be like, I go out in the world, all I see is opportunity. And I'm not saying it's easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying there won't be missteps. I'm not saying there won't be failure along the way, but that's all a part of growth. That's a part of amassing wealth. We've all made mistakes to get to whatever point we are. We can't take the shortcuts. Now the shortcuts may work for a very, very, very small percentage of people, right? Like everybody ain't gonna sell drugs, rap really good, and become Jay-Z.
Facts.
Most of you MFers are going to jail.
Right.
Right.
As we see what's going on now with the Fulton County, Atlanta individuals. But
did you send me the video of the DA talking about
I
that?
I absolutely did.
Yo, she's playing no games, bro.
But like we talked about family, and we was like 75%. Those are the numbers. She like 75% of the crime is from these dudes. They gotta go. Like, listen,
match it up here.
Hey, if you told me 75% of our people can come out here, make a livable wage to afford, housing, food, clothing, transportation, and education for their family, I'll take that. No questions asked. 75%? Oh, give me that all day.
Are those? So we in the DMV,
right?
So for my eyes, I've been working since I was 16. I'm 39, so however many years that is. There's opportunity out here, right? In my eyes,
right?
If there's opportunity out here, how do you convince someone to take advantage of the opportunity, knowing that that opportunity is a long game? Because we're playing a long game. We're not playing a short game.
Right. So we were talking about, and one of the things is think about slogans and think about, code and culture. And I'm from New York. Get rich or die trying. Like that, get rich or die trying. You selling that to young men, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't need to get rich.
You need to get
definitely you don't need to die trying to get rich. Like that's the wrong. And don't get me wrong, that's coming from. And one thing I always say, like when people be talking, like, those dudes are entertainers, right? Mm-hmm. They are, and maybe that's his story, right?
Right.
He's one out of the 13% of Americans. Like that's not everybody's story. He's very successful at what he did. That doesn't mean that's your path, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because there's a lot of doctors, teachers, engineers, IT professionals, dentists who make over $150,000, $200,000 a year, especially if they're a couple and they both, and they got 2-3 cars. They live in a nice house.
Right.
They take nice vacations. They might own a property or 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't on some get rich or die trying. They took the path.
How much?
And you can still get to the goal.
Okay, so how much of that overlooking the successful black middle class can we attribute to social media, hip hop culture, the mainstream media, and just the fact that, and just the internet and the access that we had to like billionaires now.
Right. So ask yourself the question: when was the last time they promoted somebody becoming a principal of a?
Shit, I lost you, Crump. Hold on.
Hold on. I got you.
Hold on. Oh man, fell apart on me.
Oh, good.
I'm trying
Like,
to.
when was the last time somebody promoted you becoming the principal of a school? Principals of schools make good money.
Right.
When was the last time somebody told you that you can be, the general manager of a company, of an organization that was promoted and said you can achieve this?
Okay.
But you know what they do show you and tell what you would? Be a rapper. They got gold chains. They got nice cars. And all they do is rap. No. That's a false narrative that you selling to these young men and women, because we know everybody's not going to be a successful rapper.
Right.
Everybody's not going to be, a successful entertainer or athlete. The majority of us human beings have to work for a living. So let's see if you can do something that, that you enjoy, that makes you good money, and that you can, accomplish some of the goals that you want in life. And if you can do that, and everybody wants and needs different. Like, if me and you hit the lottery today, we stop working. Like, man, y'all can have this. We out.
We be like, hey, I'll be like, hey, what's your number? Hey,
Right.
hey,
Yeah,
what's your
remember,
number?
right. Yeah, what's your number? Right.
What's your number?
Right. We get
You
that
gotta
number.
know your number.
Right. We out of here. But for the most of us Americans and human beings, we got to work for a living. Right. We got to work to put food on our table, to make sure we got a roof over our head and clothes on our back. Right. And hopefully we make it to retirement to enjoy a little bit of it. But that's the real world that we live in. So telling the average 18 to 21-year-old that, yo, you don't need to do that because you can be an entertainer or an athlete and make millions of dollars. I think the NBA only got 500 positions. Like, it's only 500 jobs.
Is it that many?
I think so, because I think it's like 32 teams, like 11. Yeah, but let's just keep, like, that's a small number,
right,
compared to how many lawyer positions there are in the country.
480 max. And Ray Pierre Alpha made a good point. He said, don't forget the trade workers like CDL drivers, carpenters,
right,
electricians, and
right,
yeah,
right. So
plumbers and all, the trade.
Right, and so I went to a vocational technical school. I wanted to go to college to be an engineer, and he's right. Like, those jobs make great money. For somebody to think about. And these are people who probably don't even have a college degree. But you ask a dude who got a painting company, a construction company, a guy who does, HVAC, heating and air conditioning. Because everybody's house need heating and gas. Everybody's house need a plumber, need an electrician. Every house in America, right? Somebody has to go in there and fix this, put it together, make it work. Right? We can't all be entertainers and, athletes.
So as you know, I agree with you. One of my angles on this, though, is that we collectively are in bed attached to a political party that remains in power based on people not being successful, right? They will provide the bare minimum for you, with the agreement that you don't make more money than you come across this line. So if my basic needs are met, shelter, food, water, right, and any other basic needs, because I know Obama was giving out phones at one point. How can I be motivated to go get just the middle class? Like, to me, in my mind, I'm like, okay, if my basic needs are met, and they're going to be met regardless, then to me, it's the billionaire stratosphere or this. Because I ain't going to work to drive no truck if you're gonna give me what the truck driver got anyway.
Right. So you got to ask yourself, and shout out to my man Mike when we was young cats around the way. He gave us some good game. He was like, you can work and make a salary that dictates where you live and your lifestyle, or you can find a job or career that you want that makes the type of money of the lifestyle that you want. So one of my boys, he worked for a hedge fund company, and he was like, guys look at my job and probably think it's boring. It's not cool. But he made over $100,000 plus bonuses. But if you went to the average high school and asked them, what does somebody in accounts receivable, HR, or IT make? They wouldn't be able to tell you.
They would probably guess if they were in tune to any degree, they would probably be like 50, 60,000.
Right. And you can go to USA, Gov, Jobs, or whatever, and you'll see some of those salaries, man, they way over 100,000 starting.
Right.
But you need a little experience. But like you said, the long game, right. Everything now you want instantly. You can't be 21 and make $500,000. Like, that's just like, stop it. Right? We all wasn't 21 making, $250,000. No. $150,000.
No, we were making dollars per hour.
Yeah, dollars per hour. Right. I remember making $4.25 minimum wage. But are you telling that to the people? Or what are you doing? What are you selling to the average, American or young man and woman to make a career that makes good money? Right? You're not telling them about those positions. You push entertainment and athletes. Like, I would love them to have career day and literally bring a professional from every one of these positions. Give me a dentist, give me a lawyer, give me a carpenter, give me a plumber, give me a truck driver.
Police officer.
Right, firefighter, police, garbage man.
Right.
Right? And it changes based on what city you live in, but put all those, industries up there, occupations up there, and have them talk to people. Because everybody's not college material. It's just not for everybody. Right? And then why would you want to go somewhere and owe somebody 80, 60, $50,000 in debt you're going to be paying off for 30 years?
Right.
Right. If that ain't for you, hey, listen. And I graduated from college, and I know it was for everybody.
I didn't. Hold on one second. Let me get to these comments. So Lil said people don't want to put in the time, work, dedication, and consistency to become successful. People want instant gratification and fast money because that's what social media promotes. And she said, what it takes to be successful isn't promoted. All people see is the end result. And Rapier Alpha said, on average, most IT jobs start at 75 to 90.
Facts.
Starting?
Yep. And so you like she said about social media. I'm sure if everybody gets the opportunity, watch the documentary, Social Dilemma.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. The mind manipulation joint.
Right. So, and the reason why I would tell them to watch that is because these are the people who created social media. And you had a woman, I want to say she was like the beginning of Twitter. And she said her kids are not allowed to be on social media more than an hour a day. And this is the creator. Person that was there at ground level was like, no, I can't let my kids more on than like an hour or two. Because she understands the impact and influence it has on them.
Was this the same movie where they were talking about how when you log on to social media and you see the notification, like you got likes, and you get the dopamine hit, and basically they
Social Dilemma, right?
Dopamine hit.
Right. And it also advised you on the impact it had on how young ladies view themselves, because they had young ladies making body augmentations trying to look like the filters. Like, that's crazy, bro.
Like in real life? Like,
yes.
The filter?
Look like the filter on an app.
Was that like, that's
a prop? That was in the movie. They talked about it.
Again. I gotta watch it again.
They talked about the number. I want to say it started in like maybe 90 something, and it was like over like 10 years. Like, the impact it had on young ladies and young girls. Like, it's crazy. Like, listen, man, hour, 2 hours, cut it off. Like, you as a parent now, and I get it, man. It's tough, bro, because you know it's on the phone, it's on the TV, it's on the internet, it's on the tablet. But listen, man, you stand in line, hold the line as long as you can. Hold the line. Hold the line as long as you can. Trust me, it's an uphill battle, man. But I'm with it. I'm with it, man. Hold the line, and it's easy to do that when you got two people, right? It's a lot easier to do when you got two people because somebody always watching.
Well,
it's hard to catch both of slipping.
I was gonna say to put. I'm glad you said that because I was gonna say to put a nice bow on it. Like you said, if we communicate, if we know we have differences, we disagree on certain things, but
Right.
we communicate and we know like this is our goal. These are the things we need to do to attain this goal. Then the things we disagree upon become less important and take up less space between us because even if I'm going to get the short end of the stick on this particular move, I know I'm playing a long game.
Right. And one way, like you think about it now, right? Sports now, everybody gets a trophy, a participation award.
Mm-hmm.
But in real life, if we have a long goal, every time we accomplish a short one, it's a win. It's a victory.
Right.
Right? Like I said, we want to buy a house. Oh, we got that 620 credit score. Cool. Next go, oh, we got that 3 to 5% down.
Right.
Cool. All right. Cool. Now we know. Now we got pre-qualified. Cool. Like we hitting milestones step by step to get to our goal.
Mm-hmm.
And if we start looking at it, because you tell somebody, well, listen, man, if you do this job and you take this path, in 20 years, you too will be a millionaire. Most cats like 20 years. Hell no, man. That's way too long.
That is a long time. But
that's a long time. Right. But if I told you every 3 to 5 years, your salary is going to go up. You're going to be able to buy assets. You're going to be able to accomplish goals that you want. You know, you might be like, yo, that ain't bad. Because isn't that what they tell you when you go to college? Like, do these 4 years,
and
you can go out there and have this career. And people go to college every day.
Well, that's what they sold us on.
Right.
They tricked a whole generation of people, and the colleges made out really well.
Extremely well.
Yeah, and the buildings and the staff and everyone got paid, and now the students are the ones holding the bag.
The bag.
And they like, yo, what you gonna do for me? And it's like, we're not gonna do nothing for you.
Yeah, and you can't file that in. You can't write that off. You can't file that in bankruptcy. You own that bag now. That's yours for life.
Grave, buddy. They're gonna bury you with that note. He didn't pay. Make sure you put that in the dead man's pocket. In case God sends him back down, just make sure he gets checked.
That's funny, man. But it's sad at the same time, man. It's sad, bro. It is, man. It really is.
Hold on. Let me read this. Ray Pierre Alpha said, after 10 years in most trades, you can make up to 100K a year. Steph said, not really because it's 6. You need a master's degree. So Steph said, you really need a master's degree instead of just a bachelor's in terms of the college thing. So that's even more money, though.
Right. But the other individual was talking about trades. Like, I don't need a master's degree to be a plumber. I don't need a master's degree to learn carpentry or be a painter. Right? And like I think about this dentist office I go to, like it's like 5 or 6 of them. And like they all kind of like went to school together, and they was like, instead of us all opening up our own individual practice, we do this for all the kids. So now we all eating. Teamwork, make the dream work. We all eating now, right? I'm not competing with you, right? Because people are going to come there. Because one, you always going to be seen because there's always somebody there working, right? And you ever went to the dentist, you know that bill's serious if you ain't got no coverage. So, right. And communications, what's the goal? How we put together, how we make this work and benefit for everybody.
So teamwork, communication. What did you say? You said something real early on. I wrote it down in my notepad. Discipline, dedication, repetition, communication, right?
Yeah, if you focus on those pillars, you got to think about everything that you become good or great at. Like, you need those pillars. Because, one, you got to be disciplined to know that, I'm going to have to do this every day. Dedicate to doing it the right way, and then doing it over and over and over again. Like Drake said, she wasn't with him. He was shooting in the gym,
Oh yeah,
doing
yeah.
like yo, he put in hours, in weeks, in days, in years to become great.
Right.
And most people have to do that in anything they want to accomplish or be at least be good at or really good at.
So one thing that I think is it falls on our shoulders. Not one thing, but one of the things that truly and genuinely falls on our shoulders and our generation is we have to take the time and effort and be willing to make the mistakes to figure out how to own our own, right? Because if we own our own, it'll be so much easier for our kids to own our own. Then if we have a kid, right, who doesn't fit that college mold, not that kid can, let's say that kid's going to be a plumber. He doesn't just have to go get hired as a plumber, right? I'm sure he'll have to do some type of, what do they call it? Apprenticeship. But the goal should be to own your own plumber's company. So if I, as a father, know how to do that, or at least how to start my LLC, file my paperwork, and I know all of the skeletons of it, it makes it easier on you. You have the inside lane as to how to, hey, Dad, how do I do this?
Well, the first thing you need to do is, as an individual, one, recognize we don't know everything. Two, try to find somebody who does know or who has been successful or has achieved that. And, now they got master classes. They got, people you can follow on Instagram. And maybe you got to, spend a little something to take a course or a class to learn how to do that. But just understand, it has been done before. And maybe you can do some research and this person can help you. Because I didn't grow up in my own house. You know what I mean? Our children will always have a home. Don't sell daddy house ever. Keep it in family forever.
Right.
And like you said, and when it comes to owning a business, think like that. What do I need to own it, maintain it, and make it successful and profitable? So your children can work there. Other family members can work there. Then maybe we can expand it. And that's a mindset that has to be taught. Rich dad, poor dad style.
Yeah, that's a good one. It also makes me think about when Dame Dash was having a conversation with the Breakfast Club.
Right.
And
I remember that.
Very
I remember that
you know
conversation.
But his point, you know what I'm saying? His point and his heart was in the more than right place. He's like, yo, like, we're supposed to own our own. Like, that way there is no, oh, I got fired. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
but the conflict I always hear about that is support. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if me and you opened up a car dealership, or me and you opened up a restaurant, or me and you opened up a sneaker store, can we get our people in our community to support the product? Knowing that, hey, listen, like Magic did, hey, listen, yo, y'all come here, y'all support the movies, we're going to employ the community. So now incentivize you. You spend the money, the neighborhood get the money. The community get the money.
Right.
Now those people, the American way, they contribute to the economy because those people buying cars, they buying homes, they spending the money in the community.
Right.
Right. And I don't know many places in America or where you just have a large black owned business community. And that has to start somewhere.
Won't have any?
I'm not saying there's any because, you see a couple of spots where, but I'm talking about as a whole.
Like on a massive.
Right. Like, listen, like we own 3 blocks of stores. Like all of them are minority owned. Yeah. Like I don't know many, man.
Well, Steph said Atlanta, right? Steph said Atlanta, and that's what I was thinking. Right. I was like, Atlanta might be where it's at. But I don't know. Let me get some of these comments. Then I got another question for you. Steph said there's a sickness in our culture that if someone trying to advise or correct us, then we are being hated on. Reginald Amon said, I see y'all reach one, teach one. Yup. ATL, Juneteenth on the way. Cali, okay. Camille said it's out in Cali and Atlanta. And Chip said financial literacy is the key. So let me ask you this. We've had a great conversation about our culture. We can go deeper. We'll come back in a little while, a month or two, do it again. But now I got a question for you about yourself. How do you want the world to remember you? Like, how do you want the world to remember Killer Krusty Crumb?
Character. At the end of the day, people will remember the type of character you was as a man. And I can hang my hat on that. Like, you can't run across nobody that I grew up with, I work with, that be like, yo, that dude a liar, that dude a cheat, that dude did me dirty, he wronged me, he was a bad person. Now, you don't gotta like everything I do, and that's a whole another story, because you're not gonna like everything, but that dude got character. Like, I can be trusted, I'm respected, and I could hold my hat on that every day, no questions asked. And most people that know me, they'll say the same.
Yeah, I know. I remember at my engagement party, nobody was stepping up for me. Everybody was on my wife's side, right? And I had people there, but nobody was like, oh, Chels is a good guy, blah, 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 blah. And my man Crumb was like, nah, yo, I'm not letting my man go out like that. And you gave a nice speech for me, you know what I'm saying? Say that they came and say that they scooped me out, And I'll always appreciate that, as well as all the other conversations and advice you give me, financial advice. Matter of fact, you gotta come back and we're gonna do a joint on like basic personal finance. So
okay,
we gotta do that, and we gotta do your top 5. So I need your top 5 dead or alive, real or fictional people you would like to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with. Who you got?
The first person will probably, you said, probably my great grandfather. I never met him. I met my great grandmother. Thomas Sowell. I would love to speak to that man.
That's my guy.
Right. I actually would like to have a conversation with Elon Musk.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that dude got a vision that's like no other.
Well, it's admirable, and it's inspirational, and it's scary.
Yes, but that's why I want to have that interesting conversation, because I am sure I'm going to be enlightened to the utmost. Malcolm X, definitely, and Gandhi.
Right. Oh, okay. So we got sorry, I had to put my joint back on the charger, y'all. So we had your great grandfather, Malcolm X, Gandhi, Elon Musk, and I heard it, but I didn't retain it. Who was it? Who else was it? You remember?
Oh, Thomas Sowell.
Thomas Sowell. Gandhi, what would you ask Gandhi?
I would love to know how a man found inner peace in all the madness. Like that's a different level of understanding of maintaining that. Like, you see, if we turned on the TV right today and watched the news for a week, we would think the world is going to hell. Everything in chaos. But we know real deep down that's not what's going on. Yeah. But they will paint that picture and show you like the world is in chaos.
Right.
And that man is the the pillar of peace. So consciousness, just thinking. Like, I would love to just have that conversation on how he's able to achieve that, man.
Okay. I'll tell you this, since we're on the live right quick. I always hit you with little tidbits of information that I come across and how I kind of quantified it in my mind. So us Black Americans today are in a very privileged position. So I was just doing some basic research, and I was just thinking about the slavery that still exists today, all across the world, right? Do you know the number of slaves that are still in the world today?
No.
Okay, so I think they had this thing, I think it's called the Global Slave Index, where they basically try and figure out how many slaves there are actively in the world today. 40 million people are enslaved all across the world, right?
40 million.
40 million, that's 40 comma million, right?
I don't even think we got that many black people in America.
We don't. It would be like if you said all the black people in America and a couple other people, it was like, all y'all the slaves now. So I say that to say the way the thought came together in my mind is that while we have our issues here in America the way it's presently constructed, we have the benefit of focusing on the effects of slavery on today, right? While there's 40 million people across the world who don't get to worry about the effects of history, they have to deal with the right now. So I say that to say, while we may not be as privileged as others, right? We are privileged in comparison to certain others. So we have to be willing to take advantage of that, communicate, like you said, and build together. Forget the disagreements. Let's figure out what we agree on, and let's go towards our goals. You agree with that?
I do, but I also realize that geography plays a big role in some of those outcomes.
Okay.
So I remember, I think I was watching PragerU, and they was talking about like slavery in America, and they was like all these people got rich, and he was like, well, Brazil has slavery way longer and way more than it was in the States, and they one of the poorest countries. And I was like, what? And I say that to say America is we're a first world country, right? We got the infrastructure, we got the resources, we got the people, we got the education to be successful and accomplish a lot of things that those other people in those other countries, like you said, those 40 million may never have.
Right.
So, you know me, no excuses, like get it done. So I'm not going to cry about or complain about, what I don't have. If I can get it, I'm going to go get it. Right. Or I'm going to try to find a way to go get it.
Sound like to me you going to get rich or die trying.
Yeah. Right. But I'm going to do it legally.
Go shorty.
Right.
It's your birthday.
Right. We going to do it legally.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I just can't. And like, I know I sent you this post, like that ain't cool, man. To like, that's not something you should inspire to do. Like, I never understood why people would think it's okay to tell people to do wrong things, knowing that the probability of that outcome is so negative.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it's beneficial for you.
Right. And I'm not talking about, because we understand the extremes, like somebody ain't got no choice compared to somebody that just made a choice when they had other options. Like, it's clearly it's clearly a difference.
Right. Okay. Well, I always give my guests the opportunity to ask me a question, so this is your moment to ask me a question if you had one for me.
Well, the big one is, what do you see yourself in the show in the next 3 to 5 years?
The next 3 to 5 years. So I see the show. I don't really like to talk numbers in terms of like viewership because I don't understand it that well. But my goal in the next 3 to 5 years is to be creating enough income from the show and everything that stems from it to not have to go to work if I choose to, right? That's the game that I'm playing. Now, I have different things in my mind as to how I can make that come into existence. Sponsorships, merch, all of the things that you see the social media influencers do, right? But like we discussed, and I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is because I don't want nobody to steal my idea.
Right,
but
right.
The master class that I was telling you about that I think I'm really good at, I think that's something that could really come about and be like a game changer, especially if I do it right, if it's priced correctly, and if I can get the support that I need to make the product what it needs to be for people to be like, damn, like I never thought of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 3 to 5 year goal, is to not have to go to work if I don't have to. The game that I'm truly genuinely playing here is learning how to be independent of a job so that I can teach my kids how to do it, right? So if the worst case scenario is that I don't pull it off in 3 to 5 years, but in 10 years, I solve the puzzle, right? If I solve
the long
the puzzle,
game, long game.
Then I'm playing the long game, because that's where you talk about legacy, right? Because that's what's gonna, the memory of me is going to reverberate way longer than my physical vessel.
Right.
So I'm playing a short game for me. I'm playing a long game for my descendants.
Right.
So that's it. You sound like you had another question for me, or you got to stack up for me?
No. That's good, because that goes back to the beginning when we talked about family, because you sacrificing your time, your energy, your Friday. You know, you ain't in a club popping bottles or anything about, spending no money, right? And that leaves something for your kids, your legacy, your family. Because now they're going to look up and be like, hey, dad did this. He showed me how.
Right.
He has this. And those root goals that you instill in, your kids are priceless.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to character building. That goes back to education. It starts at home, man. I mean, because most successful people got something that started them. You know what I mean? Somebody that influenced them, somebody that, gave them a nugget, educated them, that they was like, hey, I can use that. Oh, thank you. I needed that. Hey, that's a great idea. I can do that. We all start somewhere.
Yeah, and if you're willing to, what I've learned is, if you're willing to walk the path, the people that you need to meet along the way, they'll appear at the perfect moment.
Oh, I always believe that, man. People come into your life for a reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
they always do. They do. Yeah. Right. People come into your life for a reason. Good, bad, or indifferent. They there for reasons. The Adjustment Bureau.
Right.
The Adjustment Bureau. You know what I mean? Great movie, man, about life.
It's all a part of the master plan.
Master plan. We're going to get there.
Facts. Well, Killer Crumb, Krusty Crumb, I love you. I appreciate you sitting down with me, my brother. I look forward to our conversations in the future offline. Like I said, I got to have you come back next time, and we could do a whole thing on, I think you could do a master class on personal finance. So you want to talk offline. I mean, I ain't talking like you ain't got to help people get rich, but you can help people understand, like, these are basic things you can do to help you begin to attain. Like you say, we could do a whole hour on how to buy a house. You know what I'm saying? And I think you'd be a great person for that. So I'm going to let you go. I know you got plans. I appreciate you sitting down with me on a Friday night. And it's been real, my brother. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me. You know what I mean? Best of luck. I know you're going to be successful, because it's the plan. It's your purpose, and you're good at it. Ain't nothing better than, fulfilling your purpose and being good at it.
No, man, you're going to make me cry, man. All right, bro.
Hey, be safe, bro. Congratulations on the show, man. I'm out.
My man, holla.
Later.